Hey guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to walk you through my latest bullet journal setup. I picked up this particular notebook at the end of June and I set it up kind of slowly over a few weeks. And I moved into this pretty much right away. So I've got the month of July in here and the month of August in full, and I'm starting September. So I thought I'd just walk you through what my beginning pages look like and an overall little bit review of this notebook. This is the bullet journal edition to collab with L1917. I think these came out at the end of 2020 and I picked one up when they restocked in May, and really honestly in love with this notebook. I really enjoyed it so much that I bought 2 backups intending on potentially using them for 2022. But there is something about a hardcover A5 Leuchtturm that just feels like coming home when it comes to my bullet journal. I picked this up through L1917 USA's site, and I do currently have a discount code with them for 10% off, so I'll list both those down below. That code's only active for the month of September, I think, if you're wanting to check this notebook out. So like I mentioned, this is an A5 size. It is a hardcover. I believe this comes in 2 different colors. They've got like a blush pink and a black. The black is a lot more my vibe. This notebook has 205 numbered pages. They are a 5mm dot grid. The paper is a beautiful 120 GSM, and my pens and fountain pens have performed very well on it. This notebook has an elastic closure, a pocket in the back, and in the front it shows this beautiful copper foiled rose gold grid cheat sheet, which I really like the look of. It also comes with 3 ribbon bookmarks. I added a Leuchtturm pen loop as well so that I could clip my pen on and just have this all together when I'm out and about. And there's something about the A5 size that just, it works so well for me when it comes to traveling, and I'm surprised at how well my spreads have kind of set up in this particular notebook. The thing that I will kind of rave about with this notebook is the paper. This is the 120 GSM, and there's just something about it that feels right to me. It is a cream color, very similar to your traditional Leuchtturm paper. It is not that bright white, but after spending 10 months and I hope 2 weeks, the cream paper feels like home, and it's softer on my eyes, and it sort of gives my journal sort of that warm, cozy vintage feel as compared to that ultra bright white paper that you see in a lot of bullet journals nowadays. That does mean that, you know, you're dealing with a cream background if you're using stickers or anything like that, so kind of be aware of that. But overall, I do quite like the cream notebook. It does have the 5mm grid, and the pages are numbered, which I really love for indexing because I am an indexer. But one of the key features this particular notebook has is what I'm calling, I think it's called the Smart Grid. But there's some extra dots that are very subtle on the sides and the bottom that help you split up the page into halves, thirds, quarters, ninths very quickly. And this is the first notebook that I haven't really needed a calculator to set up, because between the grid spacing sheet on the inside cover and the Smart Grid, I can really quickly center things or figure out where I want to start my spread. So pen, straight edge has been primarily what I've used in this particular notebook. I have been in this notebook for 2 full months and a couple odd weeks. I moved into this at the end of June. I think the last week of June is my first spread in here, and so far absolutely loving it. So the front of this notebook does have a space to write your name. I wrote my name in and I stamped 2020. I will link my stamp set down below. I got it off of Amazon. And then I don't have ink, so I just used Tombow. I think it's 947. I'll list that down below to kind of give me this copper color. From there, there is a pre-printed key page. I don't typically use a key, and there's also this page for intentions. I plan on just collaging a vision journal here for the rest of the year, but haven't gotten around to it, which is a common theme for me with the first few pages. I guess I just don't use them. I like leaving them blank. From there, you have the index page, and I split mine into 2 columns because I am an indexer and I do like to index quite a bit of information. So this gives me a full 2-page spread with 4 columns to index, and the notebook does come with 4 pre-printed pages, so you could repurpose these if you don't need that many index pages. I figured I might end up using them because I do like to index so much, so I've gone ahead and left them as is. From there, we move into the future log. It gives you, I believe, 4 pages labeled future log where you can go ahead and set up a traditional one. For this particular notebook, I just opted to pre-set up monthly spreads. So I drew in all my calendars. I do Monday through Wednesday on the left-hand page, Thursday through Sunday on the right, and each of these are 5 boxes high by 4 boxes across, and that gives me a running list for to-dos on the left and space for a couple habit trackers here on the right. And I just went ahead and set up every month, and I'm using this as my monthly spread and my future log, and when things get canceled I just cross through them with a line. I find it saves me quite a bit of time to just use this as my future log, and then I kind of save myself some monthly setups throughout the month. For the most part, I just drew in the calendar and put in important dates and holidays, and then as I think of to-dos or events come up, I go ahead and populate them where I need them. I've only set up through December, so through the end of the year, because I don't anticipate I would get more than 6 months in this particular notebook. There are 205 pages, which is a little bit more, I find, with more that premium paper line, but I still don't think I get more than 6 months on here. I think I'm halfway through the notebook and I'm 2 months and 2 weeks in, so 6 might even be a stretch. We'll see. For any future events, I just did an Alistair method type of future log. So anything in 2022, this is here. I just put the date under the month and then what the event is. And then on the right, I've left myself a sheet titled Migration. And basically what I'll do here is when I'm ready to set up my next bullet journal, I will flip through this notebook. Any spreads I want to recreate or add, I will list out here. And then I will just sit on these 2 pages to set up my next particular journal for an easier reference. I do tab off all of my habit trackers. These are index clips from Midori in the orange. They're like a copper color, and mine tarnished quite a bit in the climate that I live in, but I found mine at Jet Pens. You can probably find them elsewhere, but I will link those down below as well if they're available. I have a lot of habit trackers. Habit tracking is my planner love language, so I track my cycle on a regular basis. I track my workouts as well. I track my weight on a regular basis. This is more of a weekly layout, so I do 2 columns per day, and I start week 22 through week 52, so I can kind of see how I vary from week to week. Same thing with my work hours for invoicing purposes. I have a cleaning checklist for things I like to do throughout the home on a weekly basis, and then a product tracker. So this is sort of an Alistair method. The month, the date I start the product, and then what it is, and when I finish it, I'll go back on that same line so I can see how long it takes me to get through particular products. I also have an inventory spread. This is primarily for my pantry. If I've got items that only I use that I know I will reference for like regular meal prepping, I just do a circle and pencil when I have it, and if I plan on using it for that week's meal, I'll fill it in with pen so that I know if I need to get additional. Running gift list, again with an Alistair method, what the idea is and which family member that is for. I have a dates log, so this is date ideas and then dates my husband and I have been on since in this journal. I'm not gonna lie, I have not kept this up. I thought this was gonna be a really cute page. May not do that in my next bullet journal. I have a debit sheet, so when things get charged to the wrong account, I can write it down so I know I can take care of that when the next paycheck comes in. I have a running wish list. I have a spending log for my personal spending. Package tracker, I do check mark when it ships versus when I receive it. A running shopping list for things I wouldn't get at the grocery store typically. And then we move into my first weekly spread. I think this was the last week of June, and essentially this is my Hobonichi weeks, just in A5 size. I do the date, all day events, date specific tasks, highlights of the day, a habit tracker, a running to-do list. And then when I do this particular setup, I kind of been challenging myself to do a sketch at the end of every week. So this is a picture of all my plants that I grouped on a table for watering. And behind that, I just daily log. I am really a big fan of the daily log, but I need a weekly view to do my pre-planning, or I kind of get really anxious about where a task needs to live. But overall, the setup is pretty similar from here. So month of July, I did a similar layout. I do a sketch at the end of the week, and I've been really liking it. It does feel like I'm using a lot of pages to do a 2-page weekly spread and then follow it with daily logs, but overall I just have come to realize that my brain works better when I give myself the space to do these types of things. I'm also allowing myself to use stickers in this particular setup. I can be very anti-sticker when it comes to bullet journaling setups, but I really enjoy using stickers. They help me recognize information faster. They're fun. They bring me joy. And so I really wanted to take the time to use stickers in this particular setup where I could. I have a goals vision board. This is sort of similar to the Passion Planner mind map method. And then collections throughout for some trips that we are taking and planning for. And if I have an additional habit tracker sort of as I flip through, then I will go ahead and tab that along with indexing it. But I have been giving myself ample room. Typically, I would try and split a column like this when it comes to a daily log into 3 columns. And trying to definitely just give myself more breathing room and not be so afraid of running out of pages. This is the month of August. I tried to do a week on 1 page as my pre-planner, and this felt really cramped. So I knew when I got through August that I was going to be moving back to a week on 2 page for September. And I've added, just several collections throughout. I've been trying to doodle more in this particular notebook as well. I have different projects. I did a takeover for Bullet Journal's Instagram that I needed to kind of step through that filming process. And overall, I've just really been enjoying this. I added a couple new habit trackers and tabbed them off. A books to read list that I wanted to kind of challenge myself to read through the end of the year here. And then at the end of August, I did a quick review because I wanted to sort of recap the month of August before I moved into September. So that was kind of fun. I haven't done anything like that in a long time. And then in September, I didn't like my monthly calendar. So I opted to set up a fresh one just to have. So I do bookmark my monthly, my current weekly. I moved back to the week on 2-page spread. And I do set these up at the beginning of the month and pre-populate them in so that I don't have to sort of sit on a task. When I know where it needs to go, I can put it there appropriately. And then here is my current daily log, and I don't think I have anything else past that. So I've got 2 full months and a couple weeks in here, and I'm already on page 107. So getting 6 months in here might be a bit of a stretch, but I think I'm pretty well settled with my trackers and collections. So hopefully I won't be using as many pages. I do want to do some continued bullet journal setups. If you saw my last video, it was sort of a planner system update, and I have been using my Hobonichi Weeks here and my bullet journal sort of interchangeably. I'm always ebbing and flowing between the two, and now I'm just at the point where I'm accepting that I like having both and I've got time for both, so I'm using both. But I do want to do more bullet journal setups and videos for you guys. If you're interested in seeing more bullet journal content, let me know down below. If you've made it this long, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.